Okay, you want to make sure your shirt's good and wet. I just warm water and wring it out. Make sure it's pre-washed. Get all the sizing out. And I'm doing a spiral, so I've laid out my shirt back here so you can see. And I'm going to pinch it right here in the middle. I have an image on the back of my shirt, so that's why you see it. And I'm going to spin it like that. Then I'm going to bring all this in and fix rubber bands around it. All right, so I'm using the Tulip preloaded bottles. They have the dye already in them, and I'm going to fill those up with lukewarm water. Give them a good shake with the lid on them to help dissolve all the stuff. This is a one-step process. You do not have to use soda ash or soak your shirt or anything. Everything's included. So that's a good thing about Tulip brand. They do cover all that for you. I'm using a kind of a rack here over my kitchen sink. That'll just help the ink or the dye to drip down to the sink. And okay, so I'm doing a spiral. I've got my dyes already there. The color of the lid tells me what color dyes they are. All right, so we're doing a spiral. And when you do a spiral, whether you're using 1 color, 2, 3, 4, whatever, each one of these little wedges here is a different color. If you're doing a single color, you're just going to, you make this one blue, white, blue, white, blue, white, skip it around, okay? And that gives you that uniform spiral look right in the middle. If I just start squirting this all over, you're really not going to get the true effect. And when I'm doing my spiral, whatever, or when I'm doing my dye, whatever color is here, I'm going to flip that over and hold that section and make sure I do that same section the same color. Okay, so I'm going to put it on my rack here over my sink, and I'll video or take pictures of each individual color. Okay, so all my dye is on. I did like a turquoise blue on a couple of these, 3. Then I did a navy on 3, and then I just did a teal on 2. I'll flip it over and show you that the same is done on the opposite side. So now I'm just going to let this sit here and hang out and drip down in my sink. Good place for it. And I'm going to cover it up with plastic wrap. Once it's done dripping, which takes about an hour, half hour to an hour roughly, depending on how much dye you use, I'm going to wrap it up in that plastic wrap and just leave it overnight. It tells you minimum of 6 to 8 hours. I am just a strict person on the overnight. So the longer you leave it, the better the dye grabs and the prettier your outcome will be. So, okay, so this is going to be a single collar pink in my white shirt spiral. So you see, I did it kind of like a pinwheel. I did every other spot, and this is going to be just a, like I said, a hot pink and a white, real tight spiral tomorrow when I open it up. But I'm going to let it rest. Going to cover it with plastic wrap, let it sit here and drip for a little bit. That's why I do it over the sink, or do it over a bucket or a tub or something like that. And all right, we'll go on to the next step. Frugal tip number 1: use an oven rack. Don't go buy a rack. Just take it out of your oven and wash it, or a cooling rack for cookies, because that's what that is. Okay, second of all, these little bottles from Tulip, save them, rinse them out, keep the lids for them and everything. I'm going to provide a link at the end of the video where you can buy more dyes, powder dyes, and just refill these and use them. And you can color code by the lids or write on them with Sharpies, etc. Any unused dye will be good up to a couple months if you kept in a cool, dry, dark room, because ultraviolet light or sunlight, if you put this up in the window, is not your friend. It will actually pull the color. So I just put them in a bag and set them up in the closet and have dye ready. Also, these are very strong when you first mix them up, so the whole bottle is going to give you the strongest color. If it gets about this far and you want to fill it back up with water, just understand it's just going to be a lighter color, and the more you do that, so if I used it down to say there and then I added water, it's going to be a pastel. So you can get a lot of color use out of one bottle. You can mix it in another bottle, half and half, and whatever. You can mix your colors. There's really no rhyme or reason. Rubber bands, Dollar Tree, $1 a bag. Some kits come with the white rubber bands. Those are really nice. Don't cut them, just reuse them till they get so stretchy you can't use them. These are my colors that I still have left that still have powder in them. Again, I will be saving all those bottles just so I can mix colors and make my own colors. Plastic wrap, cheap, more used bottles. You can use one of those to make a funnel by cutting this bottle in half to fill. Just so many different things you can do and make it cheap to do tie-dye. So great project with kids, and again I will provide you a link for all of my secrets and tips, and stay tuned.